Hey. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another BizBuzz Live on this Friday, October 3rd. Hey, today we're having a conversation about teachers. Let's talk to the teachers. If you're a teacher, you should be in today's live, whether you're LinkedIn or YouTube. Teachers are the backbone of our communities, right? They're the backbone of our society. They're raising our next generation, educating our next generation. But we're finding more and more teachers are asking, like, is this sustainable? Is this something I should be doing? Stick around. Let's have this conversation today. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of BizBuzz Live. I'm your host, Chris Muzan, your financial coach, helping you through all things finance. We're live here on LinkedIn, live here on YouTube. Feel free to drop comments today. Feel free to join us if you're watching live or if you're catching this on the replay. Feel free to drop some comments in. I'm super grateful for all of you that have been leaving me some comments or sending me some DMs on some of the topics that we've been talking about over the past couple months. It's always interesting to see when people get the content and then what their reactions are to it. So again, if you're watching this live, feel free to drop some comments down in the chat. If you know a teacher, if you are an educator, or you know one, this might be a conversation for you. I'd love to hear from you guys because that's what we're talking about today. As always, the thesis of these shows, the thesis of BizBuzz Live, the genesis of this, why we got this started, is because being in the financial space for going on 13 years now, helping people with their finances, whether it be their savings or their investments or their insurance or anything, their debt, any of the things that people have come to us to help them with over the past 12, 13 years, inevitably, the conversation kind of comes back to what's coming in and what's going out. What's your cash flow looking like? How much discretionary income do you actually have after your bills are paid and after you have done like your necessity spending, your necessity shopping, your necessity food, the necessity things? How much extra do you have left over every month? How much extra do you have? If it's not a lot, you got less than $1,000 left over every month, maybe even right around that. We might need to come up with some other ideas. It's hard to invest your way to wealth when you only have a couple $100. I know some of you LinkedIn and YouTube financial gurus are going to say, right, if you just put away $100 a month starting at age 21 at 65 in a Roth IRA at 6%, 8% compound interest, you're going to have $1.3 million. I get it. I get it. And that is true. It's just not the real state of where people are. Most people have financial hiccups in their life and don't have that to invest for 40 years straight. If you do, you're probably ahead of the game, but most people don't. And so we're having this conversation around what are the ways to earn money. If you have a little bit less discretionary income than you would like, sure, you should be saving some and investing some and paying down debt and all the things. But like, what if you made an extra 10 grand a month, so your discretionary income went from $1,000 to $9,000, seeing that you keep your expenses the same, or it goes from $1,000 to $7,000 because your quality of life went up a little bit. You can do so much more with that. But the question is, how are we earning the money? Right? The financial space has done a good job of talking about how to keep more of the money that you're making, how to budget and track your money, do all that stuff. But no one really talks about how we make more money, how we earn it. And that's the first step to your money, is learning how to earn it. And whether you choose to have a job, whether you choose to be a part of the gig economy and do the DoorDash, Uber Eats, contractual type stuff, gives you some flexibility, whether you're a full business owner, entrepreneur, have systems, have employees, the whole nine. Whatever you choose, it has to be right for you, and you have to understand kind of what's happening in your cash flow. Today, we're going to have a conversation around teachers, because teachers need support, right? Educators, teachers, they need support during this time. We're 1 month into the school year, basically. At the time of recording this, we're maybe five weeks or so, maybe 6 weeks for some, but 4 to 5 weeks into the part of the school year for those people that are, educating. And I've had a lot of these conversations with teachers, with educators, uh, especially the K through 12 side, right? Not necessarily the college professors, but the K through 12 side of things. And teachers are a little stressed out. I think they need our support a bit more than we even know. I'm gonna share this video with you that I saw, and want you to take this in as a teacher is communicating about what's happening in her classroom.
I'm a high school teacher. It is 4 weeks into the school year with students, and I am at my limit already. I am at my limit with being talked to and demanded at so disrespectfully, interrupted constantly, repeating myself countless times. This year feels worse. This year feels worse than the last 5 years I've taught. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I feel like I've seen so many teachers make videos where we are all ringing the alarm saying, this is bad. This year is not good. It's not good. We are struggling, and not a lot of us are going to last if this continues, because I think there's a reckoning of teachers realizing like, I actually don't deserve to be treated like and then every day wipe that slate clean and start on over as if it didn't happen. I teach high schoolers. I see it from videos of elementary school teachers and middle school teachers. I don't know when, as a society, we're going to wake up and say, our system is failing. Our students don't have basic respect or human decency. Teachers are done. Obviously, disclaimer, not all teachers, not all parents, not all students, not all schools. But I'm seeing way too many videos of teachers saying, I can't do this anymore. And we need to be taking that seriously.
So this is just one perspective, obviously, right? Just one perspective from an educator, from a teacher. But I have a feeling there's a lot more where that came from. That's what they say. There's a lot more where that came from. I feel like there's a lot more. Even what she said, as far as like she sees other educators and talks to other educators that are going through the same things. But this is what we're being faced with right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're being faced with in our education system. And if you have a child, K through 12, maybe it's time to check in on the teacher, right? I know parents have been a little bit hands off, maybe on their child's learning. The pandemic, I did a webinar right at the beginning of the pandemic, because parents were really freaking out. Some of y'all remember those times where like everything shut down and kids couldn't go to school. And then they started this online thing, and then like parents had to like monitor their kids learning, and parents couldn't handle it at all. They were freaking out. They could not handle taking on their children's education. And now we're watching how teachers are getting more and more fed up with their students and the parents. I've talked to principals, I've talked to administration, and they blame the parents. They blame the parents, right? And educators are not babysitters. They're not there for the parental things. They're there to teach our children. But administrators, principals, like they're all like, it's the parents, right? Parents are not as involved. Parents don't care as much. They just kind of pawn it off. Educators are getting it, saying it's both the admin side, not giving them the support, the resources, the things that they need, and they're blaming the parents because they're watching these kids not behave and all those things. If I go back into this video, it has 11,000 comments. It has 11,000 comments, y'all. So obviously, when you see things like this on TikTok, when you see it on any social platform, there's a reason why things pick up. It's because there's like commonality, and a lot of people can relate. It's relatable. Just a couple of these comments for you, real quick, right? Just a couple of them. Gentle parenting has been the downfall of our generation. This is a common theme. This one has 6,600 likes. This one say people want babies. They don't want to actually raise humans. It has 37,000 likes, right? Gentle parenting, electronics, complete lack of real human interaction. Electronics need to go away. It's changing people's brains, not in a good way. I feel so bad for my kids. My daughter cried because she can't even hear or learn, and she's in second grade. Right? They're the rule followers. This person's kids are following the rules, but everyone else around them, the environment that they're in, is not conducive. She's like, she can't even hear or learn. She's in second grade. Gentle parenting has been a mistake for not parenting. Gentle parenting being mistaken for not parenting will ruin a whole generation of people. This person says, this is like my 100th video I've seen of teachers quitting. It's only the first month of school. What's going on? Right? So these are concerns. These are concerns. And if you are an educator, if you are a teacher, I need you to drop some comments in. Is this what you're experiencing? Are these the types of things that are happening? What's happening in your classrooms? Again, like the lady put it in the context, like not all teachers, not all students, but an overwhelming majority of them are really struggling. And if this is a way that you've chosen to make money, if you've grown up in your life saying, hey, I'd love to just be a teacher, or I don't know what to do, so I'm going to go to school and become an educator, and this is the system that you walk into, these are the classrooms that you walk into, these are the types of kids that you're now encountering, kids that don't understand the rules or don't care to follow the rules, or high levels of ADHD, or running around the classroom, or right, like, and you happen to step into that because it's your passion or something that you believe you want to do. How feasible is this for you to make money? Right? Like, how sustainable is it for you, for someone to be an educator in 2025, 2026? Again, I think this is part of the conversation. This is what we have to talk about. The problems teachers are facing right now. One, they're underpaid. We all know this. We all know this. The average U.S. salary for a teacher is like $60,000 or something like that, $65,000. So again, not a horrible living, because there's people that make way less, but for what they have to deal with, for what you have to put up with, for the person you have to become in order to do that, that might not be worth it at all. So we know teachers are severely underpaid already. They've been that way for a while. Now they're dealing with poor behavior in classrooms. That's another conversation. They're dealing with the lack of parenting, which you just saw in those TikTok comments of like gentle parenting, this term that came out of gentle parenting, like, hey, I'm not going to spank my child, or I'm not going to yell at my child, or like all those things. Like, they've mistaken it for like not parenting at all, just kind of like letting kids do what they want to do and not adding disciplines or right consequences or those types of things. And it's now reflecting in the classroom. You get a bunch of kids all from different places, from different households with similar ideologies potentially, and put them all in a room together. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to behave. They don't know how to sit down. They don't know how to stop talking. They don't know how to interact with a human. They don't know what authority is. They don't understand any of these things. And who's left to deal with it? Our educators, our teachers. Many teachers have lack of resources, right? Got to buy their own material, spend their own money on materials, don't have enough tech in their schools, whatever the case is. Like, they're doing things to upgrade their own classrooms out of their own pocket. Not to mention the burnout, right? What you're seeing, what you're hearing right now, and what you're watching When I just showed you this TikTok and other things, you're watching teachers getting more and more fed up. So again, the reason why we're talking about it here, y'all, is because you got to think, if this is a place that you thought you were going to earn money, if this is a place that you thought you were going to go make your living, your career, there's some people that have been teaching for 25, 30, 35 years and they're ready to get out. But the person that's ready to that's stepping in, you've been in education for 3 years, you've been in education for a year, 5 years, is this how we want to continue to make money? Is this sustainable? What's broken? The system can be broken, and the education system in and of itself broken. And now you're dealing with people that are a form of broken or just not the same, right? Can't be in the classrooms, behavior issues, all the stuff. So when choosing a career, when you're going to earn money, even though it's noble and it could be a passion, stepping into the system the way that it is might not be financially sustainable for you, right? There's a stat that says 55% of teachers considered leaving their jobs over the past couple years. More than half of teachers have considered doing something different. Okay. So my encouragement, my recommendation, because again, the show, we want to talk about what's happening in these industries so you are clear on what's happening. Sometimes we only look at things like, teachers have a pension. Some of them do, right? But is your pension worth your sanity? Clip that, Ash. Is your pension worth your sanity? Right? Are you going to say, hey, I got to stick this thing out for another 20 years, but I'm going to be completely drained and exhausted and not want to be around children and probably don't want children after this point? Is that worth the pension? Probably not. If not, what else could you do? Here's some ideas. I'm always going to point you down the path of the entrepreneurial side of things. I've said this even when I did that webinar 4 or 5 years ago. I said this, and hear me closely, educators. Hear me close, right? If you can become more entrepreneurial minded, you can win and still be educating, still be in the field that you're in. But you have to think more entrepreneur minded. If it is to be, it's up to me. That's the entrepreneur mindset. We have not lost the value, in my opinion. We've not lost the value of education. Parents with children understand how important it is for their children to be educated. I still believe that that's a baseline. I don't think that there's the mass majority of parents are like, my kid doesn't need education. My kid doesn't need, they'll be fine. I don't think that's where we are yet. I think that parents know that they want their kids to be educated. So as an educator, when you know that and you are more entrepreneur minded, you take more ownership, you got to create things that parents will want. Back before this time, right? Before this, teachers, educators would go to institutions. It was about the institution. It was about the city or the township or the county that you're in, and that is how you choose to impact children, how to impact your students, right? You say, hey, I want to work for this school. This school offers good benefits. I like this school's values, right? You would pick by the institution. And now things are changing. Now, I believe that instead of looking for the institution, instead of going after the specific county or school district that you want to be in, go find the parents. Go connect with the parents, with the students that really want their kids to learn. They really want them to be educated. I was sitting in a meeting a couple days ago, a local meeting where I live up here in Northeast PA. I was sitting in a meeting and we're actually helping a school, right? We're kind of putting together some teams to help a mission-driven school really grow. And one of the guys on the team was talking about another school in the area and basically said, like, what can our school do to attract those parents? Because the parents and grandparents of kids that are in like the elementary school are dreading that their kids are going to have to go to the same like middle school and high school of the town because it's complete chaos. They don't, right? It's run by the inmates basically, right? The students run anything, they're not learning anything, the teaching's bad. So parents and grandparents of the young kids, of the kids under the age of 12, are like, man, what's the next solution? I already don't like this, but man, if I got to put them into this school or this school, like parents are thinking about moving districts, moving, like uprooting their whole life to get to another place so their child can get better education. By the way, that's going to continue to happen, just so you know, right? Because especially if education moves into the hands of the states, like that's going to happen a bunch, right? So at the end of the day, this might be just the new thing. But if you are an educator, and you're like, hey, I'm going to make my way because I have a passion teaching people. I have a passion raising up the next generation. I have a passion to be able to inspire and impact a child's life so that they enjoy learning. These are all the things I believe like an educator should do, right? You should help a child want to keep learning. Anyways, if that's it, go find those parents. Go find those parents and grandparents of people that are like, man, I don't like this district, but I don't have another option. I don't know what else I can do. They don't have the bandwidth to homeschool. They can't do it themselves. They might not be in the community where they get to send their kid to like a nice private school 45 minutes away. They need a solution too. With the amount of educators that are out here, if instead of going to the institution, go to the people. That's what I believe an educator should do. If you are tired of being a teacher in the way the current system is, go to the people. Find the educators. Find the parents of the kids that want to be educated and create something that allows that to happen. I was talking to someone and I gave this example. We homeschool our daughter. And we do it right. We've always thought about doing this. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, having this conversation with parents, there were mothers talking my wife out of putting out of the homeschooling side of things. There was parents that would be like, what about her socialization? What about this? What about that? Right? They're just all full of worry and like it was crazy. It was overwhelming. Had us thinking for a while, like, are we doing the right thing? Right. But we stuck to our guns. We knew we wanted her to have no part of like the traditional education system we saw it breaking down 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right? When we're thinking about our daughter's future. Now, every single person that we talk to and we tell them, oh, we homeschool our daughter. They're like, oh, great for you. Oh, great job. Oh, man, that's such a smart thing to do. Oh, man, I can only imagine. You can't send them to these schools. Like almost everyone that we talk to has completely changed their voice, completely changed their view from the craziness you see with mass shootings, from the craziness you see with what they're teaching, from now the craziness of what you see with, who they're in class with, what influences are there, all the stuff from all these things. We're realizing that maybe I don't want to put my child into that school. Well, teachers are going to get impacted by this, but how you get ahead of it, if you're an educator, go to the parents. Create a little homeschool co-op, create a little teaching co-op. You and your 4 other teachers just create something that 9 kids, nine families in your community would like to join. Instead of sending them to the local school that they don't like, let's raise a little bit of money. Sure, there's going to be a funding method. Parents might have to pay a little bit more than they want to. They will, I guarantee you they will. If it fits their budget, they can make it happen and it's convenient and it gets their children the education, they'll pay whatever they need to. You're paying throughout the year with fundraisers and all these things that you support in public schools or whatever. You can give that to a pack of 3 or 4 teachers that just take care of your students, your community of students. If you're an educator and you're looking for a way, instead of, again, complaining about the system that is clearly broken, let's go make some changes for our students, for our children. Let's go think about education a different way. Let's not give up on education. Let's just go figure out a better way. Let's do some more online classes or tutoring, or create better curriculums that you can get to other educators. Maybe, doing coaching or consulting, or right, building things out on social media, or whatever. There's so many ideas if you're more entrepreneurial minded. Typically people in academia are not, right? And so when you're steeped in academia, typically you're not very entrepreneur minded, outside of like learning to be self-employed and like consult and use your knowledge to like do work. We're not very entrepreneurial minded. And so that would be my encouragement for all of the teachers, all of the educators, all of the people that are out there, and saying like, man, like you heard the lady on TikTok, this year is different than other years, y'all. This year's different than other years. The kids are getting worse. The behavior is getting worse. They're not learning as much. I talked to someone, I know teachers are just passing kids through the admin, all the stuff. Like they're not really, our kids are not getting smarter. Teachers are getting more frustrated. Parents are getting more hands off. The ones that are hands off, the ones that want to be hands on are getting more hands on. That's why I said, if you're an educator and you're listening to this and you want to earn more money, you want to earn more, you got to go directly to the parents. You got to go directly to the students. You got to get away from the institution, because the institutions are failing. The education system is broken. You're not getting paid enough. You have more kids in the classroom than you can handle. The temperament of the kids is getting worse. The behavior is getting worse. The money is drying up. Like all the signs are telling you this might not be what you're going to do for the next 10, 15 years. But yes, we need teachers. We need educators. We need people to raise up and help educate the next generation. We absolutely do. We just have to find a different way to do it. That's all. Just got to find a little bit different way to do it, because it might not be worth it in the way that it's going right now, y'all. Okay? So if you know an educator, share this with them. LinkedIn, YouTube, share this with them. I'd love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on this? What are the real problems? Again, I know most teachers are going to blame the parents. That's fair. How do we fix that, though? How do we mass fix parenting? Right? It's kind of, parenting is fixed per generation, right? It changes per generation. You were raised a certain way. You say, I'm not going to do that my parents did, or I am going to do that because that's helped me. And then you just do the same thing. So do we have to wait till this next generation of kids, this next generation of kids become parents so that it changes? I don't think we'll have enough educators at that time. I don't think we'll have enough. So we got to play offense. We got to go out and grab hold of this thing, of our education system, and educators, instead of giving up on the craft, instead of giving up on inspiring the next generation and leading the next generation, instead of that, let's just change how we're doing it. Let's change how we do it. Get away from the institution, get directly to the people that want your help. They want a great teacher. I used to tell people this all the time when I was pleading why we're homeschooling our daughter. I was like, I would much rather have my daughter have the best math teacher, the best science teacher, the best history teacher that I can find, that money can buy, even if it's virtual. However we figure out learning, they're going to adapt to a different world. But I would rather pay for the best 3-4 teachers than be subject to putting them in an institution that I deem might be okay, just because of the influences, the people that are around, what the curriculum is, all the things. It might not be the way we need to go about educating our youth moving forward. So some food for thought for you this Friday, October 3rd. We're a month in. Hey, check on your teachers. Hey, go check on your teachers. Go check on your teacher friends. Go check on your teacher family members. Go send them a Starbucks gift card. Go to your children's school. Go to your children's school and give your give their teacher a gift. Send them a nice note. What happened to back in the day when the kids used to bring an apple for the teacher? What if the parents need to do that? What if you need to go like today and send your kid's teacher a message and be like, hey, thank you for dealing with all this craziness. Don't just give them problems. Don't just give them pushback when they say, hey, your kid is not paying attention in class. When they give them a bad report, don't get mad at the teacher. This we have to learn to work together if we care about these types of things. So maybe this is the time you need to go in. You need to say thank you to some of your teachers, even if there's things that they're not doing right or whatever the case is. You would want someone to say thank you to you. So just say thank you because they're helping raise your children, even though that's not their job. It's just to teach them. Anyway, every Friday, y'all, BizBuzz, we're teaching people how to earn money. If you're an educator, you got to learn how to earn money in 2025 because it might not be through the traditional ways, but there's definitely a need for it. So go out there, do something that encourages you, that pushes you out of your comfort zone, like I always say. And we'll be back here next Friday for another conversation. All right. Till next time.